Hi, and welcome back to the Unreal Engine 4 Blueprints multiplayer chat series. Today we'll be working on episode 2. In the last episode, in episode 1, we put together a basic HUD for the chat box and started on the project. So, in the last episode, I created these 3 folders, and I actually decided that I don't want those folders. Instead, what I want to do is create a new folder, chat, and this way we can keep all of the chat related files in the same folder so they're quick to get to. So let's click and drag each of the files and move them. Don't copy them, but move them. Go back to blueprints, let's see, we just did enum, so we can delete this folder, and structs, and move that to the chat folder as well. And I believe I was having an issue getting this folder to delete. Yeah, so this folder is not deleting. I'm not sure why. Let's move the UMG widgets into the chat folder as well and delete that folder. Delete, yes. If I try to rename this, let's see if maybe that'll do it. No, something weird is going on. Perhaps structs is a reserved word for something, and okay, we'll just leave it at that. So, as I said, in the last episode, we focused on building out the HUD. In this episode, we're actually going to focus on building out the GameState part of things, which will keep track of all of the messages that have been sent to each channel. And then in the next episode, we will probably work on the player controllers, which would be the glue for this entire system and allow everything to work. So with that being said, let's go ahead and we need to create some new files. So let's go ahead and create a new blueprint structure, and we're going to call this S channel. So with this, while I'm at it, I'm going to rename this structure to S channel message, because it's a structure that represents a message within the channel, so it makes sense to call it that. Open up our new S channel, and in this structure we need 2 properties. The first is the channel, and of type our channel enum, chat system channels, and create a new variable, and this time we'll call it messages. Oh, there we go. And it's going to be of type our channel message, so just do look for message, and you'll see our structure S channel message, and it will be an array. So what this structure represents is it represents a single channel, which can have multiple messages in it. While our S channel message, if you remember, represents a single message within a channel, so it has a message time, who made the message, and the actual message. If you didn't watch the last episode, go ahead and go back and watch it. It contains a lot of helpful information. So we're done with that structure, so you can go ahead and close that. Channel and messages looks good. We need one more structure, but actually we'll get to that later. So now let's right click in the content browser. Again, I'm still in the chat folder, and we will do a new blueprint and blueprint interface and call it BPI chat system. This interface will be the public contract for the chat system, and our player controller, which will be talking to the chat system, will be talking to this interface. So in the future you can use a new actor or object that implements this interface, and everything will continue to work. And here create a new function called send chat message. Create a category, chat system. I do this to keep things organized and grouped based on module or functionality. Its one and only input will be a message, so look for a message, channel message, that's right, okay. And then we need another function, and this one will be called get chat. I'll do get chat channel messages added to that chat system category. And this one will have two inputs. Actually, it will only have one. Channel being the only input. Get rid of that one. And it'll have two outputs. There we go. It will have is channel found, which is a boolean, which will allow our outside code to quickly identify if the channel has already been created or not. And it'll have a messages property, or return value, with a message structure array. Make that an array. And we need one more function, and call this watch chat channel. And assign it to the chat system category. Its input, two inputs, will be channel and channel type. And second property will be player and player controller, and of type BP player. I didn't create it yet, did I? That's right. Just make this type player controller. Just a basic player controller reference. It should not be an array, and the channel should not be an array. So make sure those are unchecked. They were carried over from this return value that we marked as an array. And that's all we need for that interface. We do need one more interface. Let's go ahead and add it now. Create a blueprint interface and call this BPI chat system channel listener. So anything, it can be a player controller or some other actor, but for the time being, it's only going to ever be a player controller. Anything that will need to be notified when a channel receives new messages will implement this interface, so our chat system can reliably know which actor implements the public methods, which will be in here, that the chat system will call to notify when the chat channel is updated. So in here, create a new function called onChatChannelUpdated. Add this to the chat system category, and its input will be two inputs, channel and channel enum type, and messages, which you've got it, is a message structure array. There we go. So we got those taken care of. Let's go ahead, and we need a GameState now. So this is a third-person game. I don't have a GameState in the starter project, so I will create one. So right-click, new blueprint, and look for GameState. And you want GameState base, not GameState. This is UE 4.14, I believe, that I'm running. I'll call it BP GameState. Make sure you go into your game mode and you change the game state to BP game state right up there. For the record, I do always save on compile. So whenever I compile, I'm also saving, so just take note of that. You can never save too much. Open up our game state, go to the event graph, go to the class settings, and over here implement BPI chat system. So if you're not familiar, ignore that error. If you're not familiar with interfaces, it's well worth it to understand how they work, because they are actually pretty important in programming. Just to quiet down just to get rid of the error, just make an array and call it good. We'll be back into this method to implement it. This is the method, as you probably noticed, which is declared by our interface, which is why it appears under here, under interfaces. However, you probably noticed that the other two methods are not under here, and that's because in our signature here, they have no output, which means they're not a function. They're actually an event. So to implement those, you would go in here and you do send a chat message, and you'll notice under add event, chat system, right there, that's our interface event that we would implement. So we don't need begin play. And to keep things tidy and organized, create a new event graph called chat system. You can open that up. We don't need the regular event graph or the construction script or the viewport. And let me just refer to my notes really quick. Okay, so in our chat system event graph, right click and look for send a chat message, which is declared by our interface. Add it, as well as watch chat channel, and add that. So the way I've got this chat system architected is all of the channels and channel messages are stored in the game state. They don't replicate down to the clients, because if you're not any channel, or if you never clicked on the button in the UI to watch a channel, you don't want to waste your player's network bandwidth and your server's network bandwidth by replicating all the channels to each client, even though they're not going to be using all of the channels. So that's why I decided to not do automatic replication. With that being said, create a new variable called channel messages. Make it private. It should not be replicated. Category chat system for organization. Change the type to S channel, and it will be an array of those. Let's see. We need, I don't think I created that other structure yet. No, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and let me collect my thoughts. Okay, switch authority, add that, and add it down here too. Remember how I mentioned the channel messages are not automatically replicated, therefore these methods should not be called on anything but the authority machine, which is why we've got this here. I would recommend doing a log text for that, followed by a stack trace. That's my preference, but to keep things slimmed down and keep the video under 30 minutes, I'm not adding anything like that. Create a new function and call this add channel message. Its one and only input will be message message S channel message. There we go. Compile that. Go back to your chat system event graph really quick and look for add channel message. Add that, connect that up, and that part is done. Let's go ahead and implement this method, which will rely on multiple helper methods. So in here, we're going to mark this as private. It should not be pure. Category chat system. Add a switch authority. Remember, these methods should only be run on authority because that's where the channel messages are. And we're going to right click the message and promote to local variable and call it the message. And I'm only doing this to reduce the amount of lines, these node lines. It'll reduce the amount of those and keep things a little bit more tidy. Drag off the output of the set and break it. We only need the channel. Get rid of everything else like that. Right click the channel, promote to local variable. Same thing here. This is for tidiness and easy readability. Bring that up. And now we need to implement another method. Call this find message channel. Make it private like that, and it should not be pure. Its input will be channel. And the responsibility of this method is going to be to iterate the channel messages and find the structure for the channel that we're passing in here. create a new method. Is channel is message channel created, and make it private, make it pure, add it to the chat system category. And before I forget, go over to your message or find message channel, add that to your chat system category as well. So back to the is message channel created, its input should be channel. Oh, it's already there. Channel enum, and it should have three outputs. The first is channel found, which is a boolean, and the second is the message channel structure itself. S channel, there we go, the S channel structure. The third is the index, which will be the index in this array that the structure was found. Integer. Okay, go ahead and break that. We're going to have two of these guys. Just do that. Okay. And I was looking at the wrong one. So I'm sorry about that. Remove this boolean, just like that. Okay, and then we can move this up. Order doesn't matter. I'm just going off my notes and I was looking at the wrong one. So switch authority, and again with the local variable, the channel, so promote that to a local variable, set it if it's the authority, and run this. And we're going to grab our channel messages array, get it, and for each loop. And connect that up like that. Move these down here and out of the way for now. So what we need to do is break our array element. We don't need messages, we just need the channel. Grab this channel and drag off one of the channels and do equal enum. Connect those for comparison. Add a new branch, hold down B, left click, just like that. So if this current item that we are iterating matches the channel that we are looking for, which would be true, then let me move these up and out of the way. The array index, connected in there. The array element, connected in there. As much as I hate crisscross lines, I want to keep this short, so I won't try to clean it up. And that's that for that. So if the current array element is our channel, we're going to do a return and return the index in this array that it can be found and the message channel structure itself. On complete, that means we did not find it. So set index to -1. Remember, array indexes start from 0. So a -1 will tell our code that uses this helper function that the channel was not found. And leave that channel node blank. And that's about it for this function. It should be marked as a pure, private, looks good. Compile, go back. You can close out of that, we won't be in there again. Go back to the find message channel, and this one should have those 3 parameters. So is channel found and boolean. Currently in my code I'm not using this top one. However, it's there in case at some point it might be useful to have that quick boolean, so outside of this code you don't have to do a greater than comparison on the index. So the message channel parameter should be of type S channel. The third parameter is the index in this channel messages array that it can be found, which would be an integer. Compile and save. Set that to -1, like that. You can break that, and we will need 2 of these. One would be success, and one will be it was not found. Click and drag is message channel created. Connect that up like that. And run a greater than integer and greater than -1. Add a branch. Hold B, left click. Just like that. Connect that up. I wish my clicking was more accurate today. So if the index is greater than -1, we found it. Mark that as yes. Connect, if it's, wait, yeah, okay, true. If it's greater than -1, I'm going to connect this. Actually, to prevent some crisscrossing of lines, equal, -1. Connect that up like that. Break that. Plug that into false. So if it's false, that means the index is -1, which means it was not found. And then you can connect that up like that. Bring this up here, drag it in there, set index to -1, make sure you do that. Is channel should be false, and that looks good. That is that function. Compile and save. Close that. Back to add channel messages, or add channel message. Click and drag find message channel. Connect up the channel and the execution pin. And promote that to a local variable and call that channel. Promote the index to a local variable and call that channel index. Looking good. Okay. So, add a branch, like that. So, if the channel is found, we need to update the existing channel. And if the channel is found, we store the existing channel in this local variable, so get that, and break that, like that. We don't need the channel property. And drag off the array of messages and do add. Drag off the message local variable, just like that. Connect the true execution pin up, like that. Okay. So we get the existing channel, we get the array of messages, we add our new message to that array. However, what we need to do to get this to actually update in this array of channel messages, we need to grab the channel, because it returns this array not by reference but by a new value, from what I remember. So, grab the channel and get it, and drag off of it and call set, and do set members in as channel. Connect the execution pin up like that. Now select it over here, open up default category and check messages, and drag this messages right there. There we go. Once we do that, we need to grab channel messages, get it, and call set array element. Connect that up. Oh, come on. Connect it up like that. Grab the channel index local variable, plug it in, and grab this struct out property. We can add a reroute node, just like that, and plug it in. And it has to be the struct out property. It shouldn't be the channel. I don't think it'll work if you drag off channel again. Okay, compile and save. Add a comment for if message channel exists, add message to the existing channel. We could probably actually shorten that and say add message to the existing channel. Okay, the next step, which is less nodes to put down, but go ahead and we need to, so if we hit this false branch, that means the channel structure is not in this array. So we need to add it, which means if it's like the very first message in that channel for the entire duration of your game, it won't be in this array. And what you could do if you wanted to do a slight design change, compared, a slight design difference in what I have going on here. On GameState begin play on the authority, you could iterate all of your supported channels and create each structure at that point, but I just created on demand as needed. So create S channel, nope, channel, no, it's make channel, make S channel. The channel should be right there. Whoop, what happened there? Like that, okay. And drag off the messages and make array. And grab the message, connect it there to the first array pin. Do a wee bit of tidying up, okay. Now what you need to do is grab the channel messages, get it, and drag off that pin and add a new item, connect the output of that up, and connect the execution up. Relatively simple. Open this and create channel because it does not exist yet. Create message channel. There we go. Okay. We do have one more part in this function. Go ahead and create a new function called notify channel updated. Add it to our chat system, make it private, and its execution pin, or its first input will be channel, and channel, chat system channels. Okay, and that's it for that, for now. You can click and drag that right there, and drag both of those up, connect the channel. So what this is going to do is after we either add a message to an existing channel structure or we create a new structure and add the new message to it, we then need to notify all of the clients who are watching that channel of the new message. So notify channel listeners that a new message arrived. So in my version of this, I refer to the player controllers that are watching for channel updates. I refer to as channel listeners, which is anything that listens to the channel. Okay, that should be it for this function. Just double checking. Okay. So let's go ahead and close that. The next thing, let me refer to my notes really quick. Let's go ahead and implement the watch chat channel. So create a new function and call it add channel listener. Make it private. It should not be peer. Add it to the chat system category. And it should have two properties, or two inputs, channel being the first, and the second is player controller of type just basic player controller. Player controller reference. Go back to the chat system event graph, click and drag add channel listener, connect all of this up. Just like that. Alrighty, open up add channel listener and let's get it implemented. So again, switch has authority for security reasons, and we need to promote each of these guys to a local variable for the same reasons as before, just to keep things tidy. right click player controller, promote to local variable, and we'll just call this player. And make sure you're promoting to a local variable and not a variable. If you do just a regular variable, it'll add it as a class variable of your game state, and you don't want that. You just want it in the scope of the function. Okay, we need to create a new function called isChannelListener created. This does mostly the same thing as is message channel created. It just iterates on a different array, which we will create shortly. Channel would be the first input of type channel, chat system channel, and two outputs. First output is the index, which will be an integer. Second will be the actual listener structure, which we have yet to create. Make that a peer function and a private function. Go ahead and compile that. Let's go ahead and create that new structure. And so right click your content browser, blueprints, structure, call it sChannelListeners. Open it up. Two variables. First is channel, and the second is player controllers, and this is an array of player controllers that are listening. Player controller, reference, and an array. It's very important that you get that array. And that's it for that. We can, or should, let me just double check before I mislead you. Okay, I think. Let's go ahead and change this to ChannelListener Structure. Just a single structure. Disconnect that. And in here, switch authority. Okay. And promote to local variable the channel. Looking good. And create a new variable, a class variable. Call it channel listeners. Make it our channel listener structure type. Channel listeners. It should be an array. Make it private. Change the category to chat system. Click and drag that, get it, and iterate it for each. Just a basic for each. We don't need a break. Connect up the execution pin. And grab our return node, and we'll hook this up. So if the array, if we complete the iteration and we run this, that means a channel listener structure was not found. So we set the index to -1. And take the array element and break it. We don't need the, no, we do need the channel property, we do not need the player controllers. And do equal enum, and compare it to the enum variable here. Add a branch, connect that up. Just like that. So if the channel is equal to the channel we're looking for, then add a new return node, set the index to the array index, and the array element to the listener output. And that's it for isChannelListener created. Go back to add channel listener, and let's set that category for isChannelListener created. I forgot about that. Click and drag there. Connect up oh, I think I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, let's just do this to keep things tidy, like that. Okay. So promote the index to a local variable and call it channel index, promote listener to local, and call it channel listener. And connect this up like that. And drag off the output of the set channel index greater than integer, and if it's greater than -1, we know that an existing structure is found. So we can update an existing one. And this is roughly the same as add channel message. There we go. So grab the channel listener array, get it, and oh, I'm sorry, not the array. Grab the channel listener local variable, get it, break it. We do not need channel. Let me double check I'm recording. 35 minutes. And then right click the player controllers, promote to local variable, and call it notify list. It'll just contain the list of player controllers we need to notify. Okay, I'm trying to keep these videos below 30 minutes, but I'm not doing too well at that. So drag off the array and find item, and look for this player, this local variable player. Okay. Do greater than integer. If it's greater than -1, we found the player controller in the array already, which means we don't want to add the player controller again. So connect that up. So if true, then we found the player controller in the array already. We don't want that. We don't want to do anything then. So drag off false, which will mean we have not found this player controller in the notify list yet. Drag off the notify list array node, add a reroute, and then add, and then drag off the player, connect it, connect the false execution pin up like that. Oh, come on, almost had it. Okay, and drag off the channel listener, get it, and set members in channel listeners. We want to set the player controllers property, and drag the notify list. Drag the notify list, connect it up, connect the execution pins like that, and then grab the channel listeners array, get it, and set array element like that. Connect the struct out, connect the channel index, and the execution pins. Okay. So if channel listener struct exists, add player to the player list. I'll do notify list. Okay. Otherwise false. The index is not greater than -1. We did not find a channel listener struct, so we need to make channel listeners. Connect up the channels and make array. Connect the player into the first pin of the make array, just like that. Grab the channel listeners class array, add the new structure to it, like that. Connect up the execution pin, like that. Channel listener doesn't exist, create it. Okay, that's it for add channel listener. Next up, let's go to our chat system. Okay, so we have that. We need to implement notify channel updated. So we have to implement that still. and get chat channel messages. Let's go ahead and implement this. Get chat channel messages. So switch authority. If it is authority, we can add a branch. And we want is message channel created. Connect the channel up. And if the index is greater than -1, the channel message structure exists. So if it is, then we can return the messages for that channel that we found. Okay, so let's grab the return node, copy it, paste it. We'll need 2 of it. For false, we're just going to drag off messages, make array, right-click the first input, and remove it, and set is channel found to false. Connect up the true right there, and then drag off the message channel, break it. We don't need the channel property. Connect the messages up, and check is channel found to true. And that's it for that one. Let's go ahead and implement notify channel. And to do that, we already created the interface. Okay, so let's implement this. Switch has authority. If it has authority, we can promote channel to local variable, just like that. And is channel listener created. Connect this up. And if it's greater than -1, it's created. Add a branch. There we go. Connect this up like that. So if it's false, we're not going to do anything. We will basically drop the call. However, if it's true, we need to grab the channel, get it, and we need to call get chat channel messages. Connect that up just like that, and promote the messages output to a local variable, and we'll just call it messages. So get channel messages, and after that we need to notify each channel listener about the updated list of messages. So let me think. As channel listeners, grab this right here, add a reroute, add one more reroute, and break it. We don't need the channel property, and we'll go through the player controllers array, and for each iterate, connect the execution pin up, drag off the array element, and uncheck context sensitive, and cast to BPI chat system channel listener. You can right click and check context sensitive again. Drag off this and do, what is it? On chat channel updated interface call. Right there. Drag the channel over here and connect it, and drag the messages property, connect it to, and that's it for that. Notify each channel listener with an updated list of messages. Okay. Let me do a quick check and make sure I've got that implemented, and find message channel. Is message channel created? Notify channel updated. Is channel listener created? Okay. Add channel listener. Okay. Just verifying really quick. So I believe this is all we need to do for this episode. Let's go ahead and we'll create that in the next episode. Cool. So this was a quick, somewhat quick episode. I'm already at probably 40 minutes now, 45 minutes. So in this episode, we created the I call it the infrastructure to our chat system. It's the repository, or the actor that will store all of the channel and channel messages. So in our next episode, in episode 3, we will actually be working on the player controller and finalizing this so we have a functional channel chat system. So thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Shoot me any suggestions, and after I get through a certain amount of once I finish the requirements that I have explained in the video details, you can shoot me suggestions and I'll expand the series and add more features. For example, maybe slash commands or something. So again, thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and look out for episode 3.